Hey everyone, today I wanted to make a video about Sampo because I recently started using him after rereading his kit and realized he's actually pretty awesome. So let's just go ahead here and start with his energy. He takes 120 energy, which is on the higher amount, and his entire kit is built around his talent. Sampo's attacks have a 65% base chance to inflict wind shear for 3 turns. Enemies inflicted with wind shear will get a wind dot equal to 28% of his attack at the beginning of each turn, and this can stack up to 5 times. Now, his basic attack, it's not stated very well here, but he'll actually attack 3 times, and he has that 65% chance to hit this on the same target. And then he also has his skill, which is where he's going to apply most of these. Throws a dagger that deals wind damage equal to 33% of his attack to a single enemy, and then the dagger will bounce randomly between enemies up to a maximum of 4 times, each time dealing wind damage equal to 33% of his attack. So this will also affect with wind shear. So basically 5 attacks here, 3 attacks here.
Plus 9 equals box. All right, that's where the cat goes.
And the randomness will kind of cause like a steady growth effect of the damage over time being implanted on the enemy throughout each round. And this is going to deal wind damage equal to, it's an AoE attack on the enemies.
What are you waiting for? To betray my customers, I charge extra.
It's going to be wind damage as well, and it can also proc his talent as well to inflict wind shear. And then it's got a 100% base chance to increase the target's damage of time taken for 22%. So it enhances dots taken. And this also affects any dots that are of a different type. So if you have a, lightning or ice damage over time and it's going to affect them, it's going to increase the damage on those as well. So you want to pair him with people like Serval or anybody who can freeze or burn, bleed, any type of effects. He's going to improve how much damage that it's doing. And then his technique, which we just showed, is him throwing a flash bomb. It inflicts blind for 10 seconds on the field, so enemies aren't going to seek you out, or if someone's chasing you, you can use this to get them to stop. And then if you decide that you want to attack them as a response, there is a 100% chance to delay all enemies' actions by 25% when entering combat. This is really, really good, especially if you have the ability to engage with a boss. 25% is quite a bit. And so this is a really, really great kit overall. His skill creates kind of 2 different scenarios. If you have a ton of enemies, like 5 enemies on the field, you can start a damage over time on each of them, very small, and gradually work your way up. But the other thing is that the amount of break damage that this can do. Each of these attacks does a specific amount of break damage. And if you attack the same target, it's going to increase how much break damage it is. So if something is weak to wind, he is going to break them much faster than most other units. And it's pretty substantial how quickly he can break them. And so for boss fights, he's really, really good for that. But he's also good at increasing the amount of damage that's happening over rounds for AoE. So he has both uses and he does pretty well at each. I'd say when the one opportunity for him is when there's only 1 unit on the field and everybody's capped out with the 5 stacks. He's not going to apply any stacks, but he's going to be a basic attack unit that helps recharge energy for the rest of the team during those sessions. And then the light cone that I'm using with him is the one with his picture on it, Eyes of the Prey. It increases effect hit rate of its wearer by 20% and increases damage over time by 24%. So this is really good for him. Obviously it has his picture on it, so it was made for him. The value of this though is that it changes his percentage for his talents, go from 65% and it increases it. It increases how effective the hit rate is by 20%. So I'm not sure if it goes up to 85% or if it just does an increase of 20% of the 65%, but regardless, it's going to improve how often he's able to land these. And then it's also going to increase the damage over time, taken damage by the enemy by 24%. So very well for him. And it's a 4-star, so it's very free to play friendly. You can get these inside of the one of the shops for the memory palace. And so this is going to be free to play earnable to stack it. And you're going to be able to increase the effective hit rate and the damage over time damage that he's going to be able to help. Now, if you're not aware of trace upgrades, there's 3 unique upgrades that will help improve the talents that the unit has. The first one for Sampo is the ability for him to extend the duration of wind shear by 1 turn, going from 3 to 4. The second one is going to basically enemies with wind shear effect are going to deal less damage to Sampo. so giving some damage mitigation. And then the third is using his ultimate's going to regenerate 10 energy, which will reduce it from 120 down to 110. And after you use an ultimate, you already get 5 back, so it'll be 105 after every ult use. So that's going to be really nice. It's going to get him to the average of 100 that most of the units are. Now, taking a look at the Eidolon system, which is the dupe system in this game, similar to Constellations and Genshin, the first one's going to increase his skill. The throwing dagger is going to do 1 additional bouncing attack, up to 5 basically. So this is going to be a 6-hit attack. The second one is going to be, it's a little weirdly stated here, but when an enemy dies that has wind shear, there's a 100% chance it's going to inflict 1 stack to all enemies. And it's based on some kind of talent, so it's possible it could be more than 1 stack. The third one and the fifth one are going to be very similar to Genshin. It just increases the skill and the ultimate respectively by 2 levels. And then the fourth one is when Sampo's skill hits an enemy with 5 or more stacks of wind shear, the current wind shear immediately deals 10% of its current damage. This is pretty big because it's the only way to get even more damage once they're stacked out. So this will help as you have a max stack on a boss, for instance, and you're continuing to do damage to keep the stacks there. This will help increase the amount of damage output he's able to do. And the sixth one is Sampo's talent wind shear damage multiplier increases by 10%. Now, I've barely scratched the surface in the game when it comes to relics, but I know they're very similar to artifacts from Genshin. The only difference is that they have 6 different slots and different set types. So with that being said, speed is an important function within turn-based games, so that's always kind of number 1. But the other substats that are really important for this character's build based on what we just read is attack percentage, effect hit percentage rate, so that way it can override any effect resistances on the enemy to make sure that those stacks are happening. And then I'd say a little bit of crit or any type of damage mitigation like HP percentage, defense percentage can be very helpful. When it comes to the sets themselves, I couldn't really find any information on what is currently available, but anything that also helps within those ranges is probably going to be the right move. And if there's any additional information I find out, I'll add it in the comments of this video, or I'll make a different one altogether on relics once we discover exactly how many there are and get some information so we can compare and contrast. I appreciate you guys sticking to this part of the video. Like the video if you felt like it was helpful. Comment below what your thoughts are, if you're going to be going for Sampo, if you're thinking about building him, or anything you'd like to know about him, and I'm more than happy to answer it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more Honkai Star Rail content coming up. I'm going to try and make character videos for all of them while we have this final CBT, and if there's any updates, I'll make sure to update them as I go. Have a good one.